who's telling you to say that to me? She says, I want to know who's telling me that. It's not right. I said, every time. She says, my mom, she died 7 years ago. And I thought, oh my God. And so she was angry. I said, don't talk about it again. It's not funny. So about 2 weeks later, I asked her out. She said yes. And we're sitting on the couch November 4th, and we're watching TV, and I make my spoon with the arm around like this to be real cool, and I see her mother sitting behind the TV set. And I'm freaked out, pull my arm back. She said, what's the matter? I'm like, I have an itch in my back. And I hear, I don't know how that happens, that to rub the small of her back, which is down here. And so I rub the bottom of her back, and she goes, oh, thank you so much. My mom was that much nervous. I'm thinking, oh my God. And then she says to sing a song, so it's so embarrassing. I'm like, pussycat, I love you, yes I do. The worst song ever for a guy to sing. And she says, my mom always, and she stopped and said, how do you know this? No one knows that. And so I said to her, I can't tell you that. No, I want to know. I said, okay, well, your mom's telling me that. What do you mean, where is she? And I pointed behind the TV set. I said, I don't see her. I'm like, well, that's where she is. And she got so upset. She was so angry. Why would I, a stranger, be able to see her mom? That's all she ever wanted. Was she bad? Was she being punished for something? Was she not capable of these things? It made her very upset. You know, and just like, you know, other areas like sports or drawing or dancing, I mean, some people have skills in areas that all of us do have. The only reason I think that the ghost hunting or the paranormal abilities are so intriguing is because they seem rare. I mean, if you think about this, you know, roses cost lots of money. Why? Because they don't grow everywhere. They're rare. Dandelions cost not, you cut them down, but they're pretty. But when something's rare, it has more value. That's how we gauge things. You know, if you think about it, saving someone's life, being a doctor, an EMT, is much more important than ghost hunting and things like that. We don't celebrate that. Oh, cool, thanks. But because it's mysterious, we put a greater value on it. You know, it's strange how the human mind thinks. We buy engagement rings with diamonds in them that cost thousands of dollars. What's a diamond? It's a rock. Because it's not a common rock, we work hours and hours to put one on someone's finger. So we love you because it's a rock on your finger now, but it's a special rock. It's a custom that goes back thousands and thousands of years, but we do that because it's unique. And so now you can talk to people in your life right now that you know. Get on the phone, call them, go visit them, and they're alive. We're not doing that. We're here in this building looking for dead people because that's cooler, that's spookier, that's more meaningful. But in reality, it probably isn't. You know what I'm saying by that? In other words, the people you can impact every day, that's really cool. And you know, we talk to people, we still get in fights, we have wars between nations, and we can hear fine and see fine. We can send a picture to China in 1/10 of a second. You know, and go on Facebook and watch somebody in Iowa. At the same time, we talk about ghosts. We sometimes hear them, sometimes we can see them, sometimes we sense them. And so communication that way is so much more difficult. It's so much harder to do. So when someone says, oh yeah, I heard that number being called like you did, or I felt that brushing my leg, it's so meaningful because it's what? So rare. If you're in the store and someone bumps into you, excuse me. But if it's a ghost, like, oh yeah, did you feel that? And it's strange how the human mind works sometimes. And you know, I've been with people sometimes who sat in a building for 12 hours waiting for a sound. Most people, they think, that's really strange. How do you find value in that? But what are you doing? You're looking for that one proof to know there's something after life. And maybe you can talk to your mom again, or your friend again, or maybe solve something. And we had that ghost in that dorm room in that place in college. My friend Jeff said to me, it's talking to you, it listens to you, it calls your name, it's speaking the language. Find out who it is, what it wants, and what it's like beyond the grave. We can go on TV and tell people, we can ask about, is religion real? Is there really like a heaven and things? And those are cool questions, right? Because we don't always have those answers. It's faith because you don't know it's there. But the sad part for me, and the truth was, I was so scared of being killed by it or destroyed by it. I didn't want proof. I just wanted to stop. Investigators, ghost investigators, are looking for evidence. Just like crime investigators do when your police try to investigate a murder or a crime or a rape or things like that, looking for proofs to prove things to people. But the person who had been mugged or beaten or raped or things like that, they don't need the proof. Why? Because they experienced it. So a lot of times people who've been in extreme hauntings, they don't want the proof. It's a reminder of bad things around them. And so back in my day, there's a struggle between me saying, don't take that picture, and burn those tapes, and get rid of things. And people are saying, no, you gotta save it for the future. You know, luckily I had good friends who for the most part did what I asked and said, don't take a picture of that, because they're my friends. The selfish thing to do is say, I want that picture to show people later on. I'm lucky that they didn't always listen to me, because that's why we have some evidence of the haunting, in spite of myself. You know, and sometimes your ghost stories, a lot of times they're a little silly, aren't they? There's like a hook, or a guy, or someone coming out of the grave, and they're designed to scare you, because people like being scared, because it's not real. But if you find yourself in a spot where you think it is real, it's terrifying. 9/11 happened, and the buildings were taken down in New York City. I lived about 40 miles from there. I knew some people who died in the buildings. Some of my friends joined the military because of that. They want to go overseas, they want to fight against terrorism, defend democratic values, and do the right thing. And that's a concept. And they got there, and they were horrified and terrified. Their legs blown off, children putting bombs on their bodies, not to get home again, chaos in the field. And they said, boy, you know, I did the right thing, but it wasn't like I thought it would be. Sometimes life isn't that way, and so when you watch the TV shows, you know, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, all these shows, just keep in mind that those are to entertain you. The real thing's often very different than that, you know, and so I hope you find what you're looking for. Just make sure if you do, you're ready for it, you know. I think those are some things to think about as you go through your life and you go through these things. And I work with a lot of people on TV shows, and I ask them that question: how do you justify the fact these things are for entertainment? How do you justify that? I mean, are you lying to us? Are you pretending? And just in case you want to know the answer, what they will say is this: it's educational entertainment. Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, Star Wars, Star Trek, those aren't real people. Those are characters we celebrate, we argue about, and discuss. All right, and what they will say is that in going through these locations, the words they use, the scenarios they describe on the TV shows might help somebody in a situation like that, whether or not what they're going through is a real thing or not. So if you want an insight into what TV shows are like, that's how it works, just like that. And then the other kind of TV shows you have are people saying they claim they're on in a moment, or I had a ghost picture, and those are your shorter things, like their experiences. That's how it is. So again, just try to keep open mind with people, you know, see what you can do with that. And, that's the whole thing.
That said, the investigation portion is usually everybody sitting in a room in the dark, staring at a recorder for a good number of hours and
Just
listening.
like this.
Exactly.
Right,
That's the misnomer. When you see Ghost Hunters, just pay attention to the timestamp down in the corner. You'll see it jump by 4 hours sometimes.
Is it doing stuff?
I haven't thrown anything down yet.
No, well, it's got colder. See, it's blue. It was green, so it got.
The Ovulus is kicking off Alone in Fear.
Did you try resetting it yet, or?
I'm freezing.
Hard to see.
There you go. Yep.
This meter was going crazy. It was so loud I had to turn it off because.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see my key. I'll come back.
Okay. Juggling, so 50 million things.
By the way, that's where we got left. We got a new guy. Much friendly.
Okay.
In theory, it's
Changing the guard.
now, right? Because we're all talking and sweating and laughing and breathing, so you know, I got colder. Maybe the window now. The temperature outside's going. So when you look at evidence, you have to make sure you understand the full picture. So you can say, well, that's impossible. It can't get colder because we're all here making heat. And then again, it's by the window. Maybe the temperature out there is getting colder faster than it's getting warmer in here. So you want to keep in mind with that as well.
Kelly, do you still have the ESD? Star Trek toy?
Yep.
Okay. Pop that out.
64 on the floor, 65, 64.
What about the Chrome one? ESD.
No, that's over there.
It's breezy outside.
Who's got the
but
ESD?
there's
Where's the
nothing coming in
ESD?
It's just sitting on the
windows
floor, I
that can
think.
You got it on?
Yeah, it's
It's
been on.
flashing blue.
And
Stupid
the other
thing.
one's on, that's over there.
The SEM?
Yeah,
Burp, burp, burp. Oh, that's amazing that it's quiet.
see. Well, when
that is on over there, right?
Chris had the EMF going,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to find a spot where it would quiet down.
Yeah, that takes a bit with that thing.
Well, when he put it in the bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
the REM pod went bananas. when he brought it out of the bathroom, the REM pod settled down.
What does that mean?
Is that device active or passive?
Which one?
RMF that he had, that he placed in the bathroom. Is it active?
The RF, the one that was going crazy, is it's a detector. They'll pick up any erroneous RF or electric signals in the environment, and based on the sensitivity, it can be either close range or long range, which is what the wheel is he's playing with right now.
Right. Can you space around the motion? I can see it.
So what does this thing do?
Well,
Picks up energy signals.
how do you describe that? How would you say energy? How would you describe that? Some people say, well, it's not really energy, it's like a heat or it's like...
Well, that one is actually RF, so it's actually hertz waves that are broadcast from like radio transmissions. Think of it that way. But it's wide, so it's not just radio, and it's not just like your cell phones and stuff like that. It can go lower and it can go higher. So it can pick up microwaves, or it can go lower below like broadcast stuff.
The Royals win yet? Anyone know?
They did.
Yes, thank you.
Oop, sorry.
It's final.
Come on in. Got a recorder?
No, you want me to run this?
Yeah. Let's just do an EVP.
Yeah, sure.
Phil, do you know some of the history of this, of the floor, what people claim happens here? Or?
Sure. Yep. Squish on by. Go, go, go. I can't move any further.
Kelly's got a recorder.
We got one.
Well, Sean's going for a good one. You know Sean.
Yeah.
For the fourth floor, they've we were interviewing housekeeping staff just earlier today, and she was telling us all about the floor. One of the staff that was cleaning it today did not want to do it, so she was pitching a fit because she hates this floor. They'll see people wandering the hallways that shouldn't be there, just like fleeting glimpses. But the primary ones were, as she's cleaning the rooms, she'll prop the doors open with her vacuum cleaner, and she will get an armload of like towels and stuff to bring into the bathroom, and she'll turn around and the door will be closed. The vacuum cleaner will be like moved off into a closet or moved all the way across the hall on the other side of her cart in the span of scooping them up off the cart and turning around.
Fix them out.
And that's all of the fourth floor. Every one of the rooms is like that. They will have the TVs turn themselves on. The rooms down here, this one in particular, will call down to the front desk even though the phone is disconnected. They were doing maintenance on it, and they had people, it just kept calling all throughout the night, and there was no one in the room, and the phone wasn't connected. So it was like, okay, that's a little bit odd. And then more recently, they had someone book this room for 4 nights, and the first night, they couldn't make it through the night. They ended up spending the night in their car. On the second day, they immediately checked out and just left it prepaid for the next 2 days because they felt someone sit down on the bed next to them. They felt like someone standing over them. They'll see a man in this room just staring at them. The table will move away from the wall all of its own volition. The staff will report that as they're cleaning, this table will migrate away from the wall all by itself. They will have objects move in the rooms. The rooms down at the end of the halls here, she was talking about them just earlier today. She was cleaning and she saw a shadow pass by underneath the door, like someone was in the room, and she had just cleaned the room. There was a few people that actually were checking into the rooms here while Sean and I were asking these questions. He goes, "Yeah, it was just right before you guys walked up." And it's like, okay, that's a little bit interesting. So there's a lot that's going on this floor, and it all centers with this room and 412. So
And there are people who were in these tours tonight who are sleeping on this floor, right?
yes,
Yeah.
there are.
We're on this floor.
Yep. We're on this floor.
Have
also.
fun with that. This is gonna be a great night for you guys because that's why they kind of booked you on these floors. You wanted activity, you're gonna get activity. They had a baseball team that stayed here. This one's for the 7th floor. They stayed here for 2 weeks, and 5 different times they had someone different coming down from the team talking about seeing a figure in white standing at the end of the hallway creeping them out. And they're like, I don't know who's staying at that end. They're really bugging me. This floor has also had this one, not a white figure, but a figure that they'll see at the end of the hall down by where the vending machines are supposed to be. 4 does not have the vending machines, so any light and strange stuff you see going on down there, well, there's not supposed to be anything down there, actually. So.
Does the hotel management recognize this might be happening, or are they just kind of...
Yes, they are well aware of this, and the maintenance crew is also aware. As I was saying, the housekeeping staff are the ones that are putting up with most of it. It happens during the day, it happens at night. They actually do not want to do any sort of cleaning or anything at night because they absolutely hate this floor for the stuff that goes on. And it just gets stranger and stranger. One of the more entertaining ones about the lobby that the housekeeping staff also told us was 2 of the front desk clerks were actually staying the overnight, which are now actually, and it was around 2 in the morning. They saw someone enter through the back door, walking across the lobby just like any other guest, and halfway across the lobby they just disappeared. The 2 of them just sort of looked at each other and were like, okay. It's like, you saw that? I saw that. So we've got quite a bit of stuff going on here. And I think it all stems from the mob days.
Prohibition?
Mm-hmm. This was a mob-owned and run hotel. So Utica was officially known as Sin City during the 20s and 30s. Not the comic, but the legit place.
Do they know of anything in any of like the other rooms on this floor or in certain areas?
That's the TVs going on and off, the doors closing, occasionally things moving, but the most significant activity are through these 3 rooms here.
Phones ringing,
That shouldn't
the
be.
desk.
The desk that
Continuously,
moves.
yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if someone said that they were having a hard time if they moved them. Like, if you went downstairs and said, listen, I can't be there, there's something in that room, would they move them, you think, or...?
I think they would, but they're well aware of it. At this hour, they probably wouldn't. If you had issues, you kind of signed up for a ghost, you kind of got them. But that's okay, because in all instances that we can possibly think of, aside from the few rare occurrences, the ghosts are just kind of letting you know they're around. These ones aren't about to jump out at you or do anything traumatic. They're just here to sort of let you know that they're here, and also sort of, I want this table here. Stop messing with my room, and they'll slam the door on you.
Ready?
Go for it.
Start up with EVP here. EVP session, room 410. Feel free to ask any questions, guys, if you got any. My name is Sean. Is anybody in here with us? Can you give us a name?
Why are you here? Don't whisper, just ask. Come on. It's not gonna kill you. If you have a question, ask it.
Can you bang on the wall?
There you go. Can you make a loud noise for us? Something like this.
Are you a woman?
Just got moved.
Can you close the bathroom door?
Any type of sound. Can you do anything? Get our attention.
This that works for many hours, right? This is how it goes.
Mm.
It's like this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could do this for 10 hours. You won't know until you review stuff. Give us a sign that you're here. Come on.
Can you raise the temperature a little bit?
That's a good question. There's a green light over here. Can you make that turn red for us? By warming it
I'll
up?
appreciate that, being New Yorkers.
All you gotta do is touch that green light. It'll make it warmer. It'll change color. Can you do that for us, please? Can you turn the TV on? That's one of the claims.
You're just not right now, though.
Why haven't you crossed over?
What day is it?
Pause that AVP session. Let's rewind that one, see if we got